Well, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to my movie review of KGF Chapter 1, starring the rocking star Yash. This is the first film I've seen of Yash. This may be the first Sandalwood film that I have seen. And, boy, oh boy, do we get a lot to talk about. KGF, the Goldfields were a real place, from what I understand, and they had some kind of Russian tie, from what I understand. And initially, no, of course, this is a movie, and they've taken that kind of backdrop to draw their story from. I'm going to say one minor critique. I wouldn't even say it's a negative. I would just say one minor critique. Then I'm going to get into the review and what I liked about the film. The film jumped from time period to time period too much. I would get caught in a time period where we were learning about what was going on, and I was really getting into it, and then they would jump to another time period, and I'd be like, "What? Wait, what the hell? What you do? Oh, okay." And then I would get into that one, and then we'd jump back and be like, however, with that cinematography, storytelling apparatus, it was very hard to predict where this was going. What I thought I was going to watch based on the trailer I saw was a dark and gritty, Sandalwood production of something like Gangs of Wasseypur. That's what I thought I was getting. I didn't read anybody's reviews or watch anybody's reviews on this. I wanted this to be a surprise, to see the film. What I was surprised about was, at times, this movie was very funny. I was surprised at how they worked in the song and dance. I thought for sure there would be no masala in this at all. None. And there was, and it was done, I think, appropriately. But it was really funny at times, and I was just like, oh, that's funny. So this film also, I think, did a really good job of being gritty and grounded. A lot of times when you watch films, the Warrior Queen will point this out a lot, is you'll be watching a period piece, or you'll be watching a dystopian piece, short film, movie, TV series, and it's, very tragic, very, doom and gloom, and everybody is super clean, like not a smudge of dirt on them, and their teeth are super bright white. Like, come on, dude, like, this is supposed to be a dystopian, primitive setting, and, here everybody looked dirty. And I don't mean dirty like maybe they smelled, like if you stood next to them, but it looked very authentic. Well, before I start going into this, because I'll go a million miles, what we have here is the story of KGF. It's Chapter 1. And you have this, this woman who I'm guessing is a reporter or some type of very well known in the film, who is going to do a story about this. And the story's being pitched by a guy who wrote a book about KGF, Chapter 1, and he's sitting down telling her the story, what has happened, what is going on. And I really liked when they would do these things and they referenced historical things. They used like historical stock footage to mix it in there, and I thought that was really cool. So he begins to tell this story about our hero, Yash, where he came from, and that kind of picks up where we see him in the trailer, that great shot of the trailer where in this beautiful little village, where Yash's character is being born, Rocky is being born, they find gold. Right, and so you see that imagery of them finding the gold nugget and Yash being born, and the Molotov cocktail coming rolling in. Great imagery, and so we get to see him grow up a little bit. Mom is looks like a single mom, very poor, very. I thought the actress who played his mother was outstanding. I really do. I thought she was truly an outstanding, one of many little diamonds that are going to shine in this film. When you watch her performance, it is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. I thought Yash as the little boy, he was really good, you know, because you saw him kind of running around with the single mom, trying to look after her, trying to be a man, trying to be a kid, and you know, just living in this you know, abject poverty, and making the most of it. Something that I think most Americans could not relate to at all. But in how they showed it, I think was just so moving. There were times I found myself wanting to cry by just the scenery of how thick and deep this poverty ran. And all through the film, the cinematography was stunning. All through the film. Whoever did that cinematography needs a raise. They need 2 raises. If you're watching the cinematography dude or dudette, you need a raise. You need to go march into that Sandalwood film studio and say, I want a raise. The professor says so. It was outstanding. And then you see mom die. And this little boy's world comes crashing in, and she makes him promise to be strong, you know, to fight on. And he internalizes that and becomes quite the force, right? Becomes quite the force. And we see him, and again, this is going to be a little bit out of order because this is all done in flashbacks, and so you get little pieces here and there. And I'm trying to put this into some way of that I can make sense of it and explain it to you. So as a little boy, he then gets taken into an orphanage maybe. And it looks like there's some Muslims that are running it, and they're teaching him to pray and read and write and things of that nature. And we get this you know, outsider coming in to talk to the schoolmaster. I'm going to call him the schoolmaster. And he says they're talking about a problem they have with one of the police inspectors. Because we quickly start to realize that this school is tied to a local don. The local mob somehow has their hands in this, maybe to recruit these guys as they grow up to come into their organization. Maybe that's the purpose, I don't know. And he's having this discussion back and forth between the schoolmaster and the mobster, and the kids are sitting there doing their stuff, listening. They're listening, but they're not part of the conversation. And the schoolmaster says, "What are we going to do? We're going to hit the inspector? Like, what are we going to do? We're going to hit this guy? Like, come on, think about what you're saying." And we see a little hand raise up. Oh, a little hand. And he volunteers to do it, right? This kid, and it's Yash, volunteers to do it. And we see the inspector come kind of stumbling on out of, I don't know if it's a whorehouse or what, dude. Just, you know, just as unlikable as possible. And this great imagery unfolds as he's kind of walking like, whoa, man, that was a good time. They're cutting to this pack of kids running. And you don't see who they are initially. You just see the little feet. The little feet are just... And it's clear that they're running towards this guy, right? And he's just, oh, man, that was it. And just... And it was, the back and forth, dude, was really, it was genius. It really was genius. It was so genius. This... Man, it was so genius. I'm putting this in the Bollywood Top 100, and I know everybody's going to get mad because it's not a Bollywood Top 100. They're going to say, "Professor, this is not a Bollywood film." I know. But it's so good, it deserves to be in there. And the boy comes up, Yash comes up and grabs a bottle and hits the inspector in the head. Hits him in the head. Right? Just posh. The inspector goes down, he's bloody, he blows his whistle, the cop buddies come out, and he tells them, a bunch of kids, just hit me in the bottle, go get them. And so the kids are running, the police are chasing, the kids get away. All of a sudden, Yash stops. He stops, and he says, "I'm going back." And they're like, "But we got away, why would you go back? That doesn't make any sense." And he says, "He doesn't know who I am. He needs to know who I am. He needs to know who did this to him." I was like, what? This dude's little onions just like, are you crazy? And the kid goes back and he hits him again. Just hits him again, face on. Just hits him, dude, hits him. And of course they arrest him, right? They arrest him. Oh, by the way, warning, spoilers. I probably should have said that in the beginning. Warning, spoilers. He gets arrested, and the police beat the crap out of him, you know. And the schoolmaster picks him up. And the schoolmaster is what do you do with this? You know, now we got a problem. And they bring the schoolmaster, they bring Yash, they bring all this kind of party to the Don. And Yash says something along the lines like, you know, if you hit the police, they'll look for you. If you hit the inspector, the Don will look for you. And the Don says to him, what do you want? And he looks up just crazy-eyed and says, the world. I want the world. And right away, you know, he becomes, you know, the Mafia Don's project to train and bring up in the way of organized crime. And we see you know, a series of things that go on, you know, in Bombay, and people are getting upset because everybody bows to the Don except Yash doesn't bow to the Don, and he's getting too good, he's getting too much of a reputation that there's some concerns about what to do with him, right? Like he is going to be dangerous to keep around because he's eyeing the big seat. That means, you know, we're probably all going to die unless we kill him first. And you can just see that there's becoming this distrust towards him, even though that he has been a loyal soldier up to this point. So, you know, the next thing that happens is there's this problem with rival gangs in you know, Bengaluru. Is it Bengaluru? No, wait, that's where Ivan is at. It's in Bengaluru. Bangalore, maybe. Bangalore. And all the Bombay mob bosses kind of come up and they hatch a plan. And they're going to send Yash down there to assassinate somebody, right? And to me, it was unclear exactly who were they looking to assassinate. Is it the ultimate guy that he got in the end, or was it somebody else? Because I was starting to get confused because we're flashing back and forth. But on his way down there, he's drunk as a skunk, and he can't get into the hotel. The driver can't get in the hotel because the road's blocked with a street party going on. And he gets out and he falls. He gets out drunk and he falls for this woman. And the woman is tied to the mob somehow. I couldn't tell if she was the daughter of the guy they were going to kill or what the deal is. And he comes on and he gets a little fresh with her and tells her that he's in love with her and, you know, what, blah, 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 blah. And she takes offense to it. And she gives one of these, snaps the fingers, and the guy's her protection going to come and going to rough up Yash. And of course he goes through him. Right, he just goes through them. And this brings me up to another part. These fight scenes, a couple times we saw Yash hit somebody. They did an effect with the camera. Well, it looked like the camera was shaking. You had the sense of this unmatched power that were in his kicks, in his punches. And sometimes when you see this in Indian films, it looks completely ridiculous, right? You know, if you watch a Balakrishna film and he's kicked, I mean, you're just like, what the hell is he doing, dude? This is just so weird, you know. But it was done so well. It's like, I would compare it to for the American audience. Like, if you watch old kung fu movies, the real cheesy kung fu movies, and you see him doing all kinds of stuff like, and it looks so stupid. You're like, there's no way, get out of here. But yet, you see something like, what it was that, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where it's done by an artist. It looks beautiful and believable. Like, oh, maybe they really can scale up to the roof of a house just by jumping like that, right? It had that quality to it. You know, this was done by such artistry. In the cinematography and in the fight, you know, choreographing the fight scenes, that it looks so believable that he could kick somebody when they're on the ground and they would raise up 6 feet and then fall, right? It looks so believable. And so this set another plot into play to go and do this assassination. And they had, it was going to be in this heavily guarded area where there were police and military and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they had this great ingenious way of getting a gun into his hands. Like, everybody had a piece of it. So you see them as they're starting to go through and maneuver through. And I know I'm leaving out about when he beats up everybody again and is the driver, but we'll leave that. We go see the movie. I can't do the whole movie for you. And they get up to the assassination, and everybody has a little part. Maybe it's on a necklace, and it's got a piece, a pin that you need for the gun. And they're going through the crowd, and somebody's like, here's a piece. Oh, here's a piece. And you see this gun getting assembled as they're going through the crowd. But somehow it's a setup. And I wasn't sure if Yash set this up himself to get into the prison camp on purpose, or if this was somebody sold him out. I couldn't tell. I really couldn't tell on it. And they go to pull the gun, and everybody else is everybody's ready for it, and all the guns come out, and there's mass panic and hysteria. And Yash marches himself, he's not captured, marches himself into, wait, no, he doesn't march himself into that yet. He then gets on a motorcycle and is heading for KGF, and they're waiting for him again, to kill him again. And he goes through them completely, no problem. Again, great cinematography. The imagery in the fight scene when he's coming on the motorcycle and they have their goggles on looks so awesome. Looks so cool. Just the imagery, how dark and dirty and gritty it was as you see him going through the scenery. It was just like, the cinematography was so good that I think it was like a character in the film, and you think, well, how much cinematography can you put in a gold mine? Well, you put a lot. Again, hey, cinematography dude, go ask for a raise. It was amazing. And so he goes through and he beats everybody up, he kills everybody, and he then hides with the prisoners because he's getting on a prison transport that's going into the mine. And he goes into the mine, right? And everybody assumed that he got away and he went somewhere else, that he must be on a road somewhere else because he wouldn't get on there, and if he doesn't even know where he's going. So he begins to infiltrate. He begins to try to be one of the common people, kind of like blending in, watching, observing. And I thought they did a great job of where he could time, like they showed you really well, how he could time, he would be slapping his knee or something to count the seconds of when the troop transports would go by, so he could kind of gauge where he was. And he sets up some diversions, and so he can get in the maintenance area and see the map of the place, and he sketches it out real quick from memory so he can remember and look and see. And this film had such a feel of Escape from New York, Mad Max in the Thunderdome, Dark Knight Rises. I mean, this thing was just like so many great things rolled into one. I mean, it was just like, I was mesmerized by it. I truly was mesmerized by it. So, we're already at 18 minutes. This is a long one. So this scene then plays out in the camp, right? And it starts becoming very clear to me, like, oh, we only got 30 minutes left, and they're nowhere near for wrapping up this thing. And they really don't. They kind of hang it on chapter 1, that there's going to be multiple chapters to this, to the story of KGF. And, he puts in the plan a mastermind plan. There was a one thing I want to tell you that was really good. There was the bad guys in the camp were really, I think, really good. And when you have really strong bad guys, it really makes your hero that much better. And I think that was a genius piece of casting. The people who they got to play, whether it was the foreman, the junior boss, some of the guards. There was a guard with a tattoo on his belly and stomach. They look so good as bad guys, so believable, so like, oh no, they're gonna touch me. Oh no, they're gonna hurt me. And it just made Yash look that much better as he was putting these people down. But he hatches a plan, complete misdirects all the way through. I did not see this plan coming at all. When I realized where it was going to, And then we see some cooperation by one of the sons that was bypassed for the chain of command. And I almost got the impression that he was working with Yash to wipe them out. And I'm not going to leave you the whole thing, but it was a brilliant misdirect. Like, I was like, oh, there is one great fight scene though, where these bad guys, if you get hurt or if you're considered no good anymore, useless, one of these crazy guys that was a guard will take you down into the mine, and he hunts you for his fun, just for giggles, right? And we saw it once before, and then he did it to a blind guy, right? A blind guy, this little feeble old blind guy. And Yash uses that moment to put his plan in place, and he goes in, and he turns out the lights and goes to town. And the whole fight sequence was amazing because the lights are out. He grabbed a hot iron, so the lights go out in the tunnels. All you can see is the hot iron glowing, and you know it's Yash coming. And then there's a bad guy who lights a match, and so you get a few seconds of light around you, and then it's not just that the match goes out. The match goes out, and it burns his fingers. He's like, oh. Then he lights another one. He's like, oh, and there's more dead bodies. Oh. He lights another. Oh, there's more dead bodies. Like, that was so genius, so brilliant, so funny, man. I was just like, and then it turns out the blind guy walks out. He's the only one who served a second. In here, oh, there it is. Too much movement around, huh? And so the film comes to an end. Yash, who you thought wanted to be the Don of Bombay, he's got himself an army now. Not a crew, an army. And the one we saw that I told you about earlier, you can tell she's really in love with him, because there's a scene where Yash sees an orphan, well, a single mom with an orphan, very touching scene where he stops traffic to help them. And constantly she is like, you know, is he dead? Is he dead? You can tell that she cares for him. Whew, man, this film was incredible. It was incredible. I give it my highest marks. I give it, you know, A+++++++++++++. It was an amazing film, and I'm putting it in the Bollywood Top 100, even though I know it's not a Bollywood Top 100 film. It is a Sandalwood Top 1 film. This thing was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I think you'll really enjoy it. I mean, this, again, song, dance, laughing, action, it had it all, dude. And it was done so well. Whoever put this on, the casting, the directing, the lighting, the cinematography, costumes, oh, they were so amazing. You all did a really great job. And it's on my list of DVDs to own. Just everybody who made this film, I just want to say thank you. This was a true pleasure of a film to watch and review and talk about. And hurry up with Chapter 2. Hurry up with Chapter 2. If you need me to be in it as a dead body, I'd be happy to. I'll catch you guys later. Peace and much love.